Tensions between the United States and Iran have reached a new level, raising fears that the conflict could spread across the Middle East and threaten global peace. The latest developments come after the United States carried out fresh military strikes on targets it says are linked to Iranian forces and armed groups operating in the region. According to U.S. officials, the strikes were aimed at protecting American troops and military bases from repeated attacks by groups believed to be supported by Iran. The U.S. government says the operations are defensive measures designed to prevent further threats against its personnel and allies. Iran, however, has strongly condemned the attacks. Iranian leaders described the strikes as acts of aggression and warned that the country would respond to protect its sovereignty and national interests. In response, Iran has expanded its military activities and signaled that it is prepared to continue retaliatory actions if the attacks persist. The exchange has heightened fears that the long-running rivalry between the two countries could develop into a much wider regional conflict. Military experts say the situation remains highly unpredictable. Both countries continue to maintain a strong military presence in the region, while neighboring nations remain on high alert over possible spillover effects. The conflict has also increased concerns about the safety of international shipping routes, especially around the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important waterways for transporting crude oil. Any disruption in this area could affect global energy supplies and lead to higher fuel prices around the world. Financial markets are also watching the situation closely. Investors fear that continued fighting could affect oil production, international trade, and global economic stability. Several countries have called on both the United States and Iran to exercise restraint. World leaders are urging both sides to return to dialogue and avoid actions that could trigger a full-scale war. The United Nations has also appealed for calm, stressing that diplomacy remains the best way to resolve the crisis peacefully. Humanitarian organizations have expressed concern about civilians living in areas affected by the conflict. Aid groups warn that if the fighting expands, thousands of families could be displaced, creating additional humanitarian challenges across the region. Political analysts believe that both Washington and Tehran are trying to protect their strategic interests, but they caution that continued military action increases the risk of miscalculation. Even a small incident could quickly escalate into a much larger confrontation involving other countries and armed groups. For many people around the world, the biggest concern is the possible impact on global security and the economy. A prolonged conflict could influence international trade, increase inflation through higher energy costs, and place additional pressure on countries already facing economic difficulties. Despite the rising tensions, diplomatic efforts are continuing behind the scenes. Several regional and international partners are encouraging direct communication between both governments in the hope of preventing further escalation. Observers say the coming days will be crucial. If diplomatic efforts succeed, tensions may gradually reduce. However, if military operations continue, the region could face one of its most serious security crises in recent years. As the situation develops, governments around the world continue to monitor events closely while preparing for possible political, economic, and humanitarian consequences. For now, the international community remains focused on one key objective: preventing the conflict from growing into a wider regional war. That concludes our report. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell for more breaking news from Nigeria and around the world.